Hello Twin Flames, this is Victoria and I'm here with your daily energy check. Today, as I promised, the reading is going to be dedicated to the solar eclipse in Scorpio that's going to be happening on October 25th at about 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please adjust the timing towards, that's going to be the peak of the eclipse actually. Adjust the timing towards your time zone, and note if you are anxious to actually see the eclipse in the sky. Well, first of all, of course, you should have proper eyewear to make sure that your eyes are not affected. And this is going to be seen throughout Europe and northeastern part of Africa and a little bit of Asia as well, like Middle East basically over there. So yeah, double check that. And it's a partial solar eclipse, it's not a full eclipse. For the rest of us, including myself, we aren't gonna be able to see it, but guess what? We're all gonna be able to feel it big time, baby. First of all, eclipses are these portals, and it's not just by chance that we're saying that it's an eclipse season. It starts with a solar eclipse, it ends with a lunar eclipse 2 weeks later. So we're opening the gate, or the universe is opening this gate of transformational events. And not only is transformational by nature, because everything that's happening to us is amplified, the energies, the emotions, the feelings, a lot of destined events are coming about. This eclipse is in Scorpio, which is about death and rebirth. As you know, in tarot it's the death card. So usually it is the solar eclipse happened during the new moon. And normally I would tell you that, you know, new moons are all about manifesting something new, starting new projects, new habits. It's all kind of the universe is co-creating here with you, and it's helping you move your plans forward. This time it's a little bit different, still important to have that roadmap in mind, to understand what is important, but there is a sense of what is it that I want to transform from where I currently am, what to release, what to transform into something else, right? Not just kind of like keep adding things, right? But rather transforming or even releasing something old, something that is not needed anymore. And we'll see what the cards are gonna say. You're definitely gonna look at how the eclipse is impacting the feminine, the masculine, and the connection. I am gonna pull some cards from the angel therapy with some advice, but just in general, it's gonna be something. So I would rather focus attention, and I mean that's what I'm gonna do anyway, on releasing and forgiving. When it comes to people, like when you start thinking about karma and karmic events, and by the way, this solar eclipse is in Scorpio, which is the south node of the moon, right? She's about karma and the passing things, right? We're moving towards the north node ideally, and kind of from the south node. Not entirely moving away from it, but it's something that we've accomplished before. This is more of like our past, right? And we're moving towards the future, which is the north node of the moon. So there will be opportunities to work through the karma of the past, to heal, to clean up certain relationships, certain loose ends, certain issues of the past. Use this opportunity wisely. When it comes to people, please give them a break and let the universe handle the law of reciprocity and the karma towards them. Even if it's very clear that they've done you wrong, it's very important not to get stuck into that space of, I don't know, anger, hurt, revenge, right? So that's the whole point, to kind of move through it, process it, and release it, right? So you free up space in your own energy field for something new and beautiful. So it may look ugly, hence the whole vibe of the time and the Scorpio season with the death and rebirth. We are almost at Halloween time, right? So it all kind of comes together. So now that I've done my pitch, I'm gonna go to the cards, and I'm gonna start with the Oracle deck as always. And today I'm working with the Cosmic Journey Oracle. So let's see what we have for Divine Feminine first of all. What's the theme of this solar eclipse? What do we need to know? 3, 2, 1, jump. Exactly, this card number 1, right? This is that new beginning, but at the same time, it's you jumping into something else. You know, like the jumps, and especially if there is a countdown, is usually about doing like a leap, right? It's like it's not just a simple jump. I was standing here and I jumped over there. No, it's like a jump when you have, I don't know, you know, the diving, the synchronized swimming or whatever, right? Where you're jumping, I don't know, maybe off a cliff or something, right? Where you're not 100% sure how it's gonna end, right? There's some sort of daredevil energy, if you wish. But it's always something brave, adrenaline filled, right? But something that's important to do. To me, it's more than anything leap of faith. And I'm not surprised that it's card number 1. Number 1 in tarot is the Magician, but to me, this is still like the beginning of the journey, right? The invitation. Not the invitation, sorry, but the agreement to accept the invitation and to go for it, to jump. Okay, what about, so you'll be invited, Divine Feminines. You've been warned. Let's see what we have for the masculines. By the way, don't forget to like the video, to subscribe to my channel, to leave a comment. I appreciate all of you guys giving your feedback and supporting my channel. Okay, so we have number 14. Find your star family in this cosmic game of hide and seek. Yeah, this is beautiful. Love it. As now I'm actually taking an ancestry healing course myself. To me, this speaks more than anything towards ancestors and soul family, right? The guides and connection with them. And let's just put a kind of a lens of the karmic clearing on it and say that this is for the masculine. The focus is likely gonna be childhood memories, relationships with family, and certain triggers that are gonna be coming up, right? It may come up in a subtle way through the current experiences, but it will definitely get Divine Masculine thinking about those memories and will bring them back into those bright meaning like colorful, you know, important, strong memories from childhood that were not necessarily good. Maybe some of them were not, were painful, were misunderstood, and this is the time to see them with an adult view, with a more aware view, mature view, right? And see how it can be transmuted and released, and how important those experiences were in building up who Divine Masculines currently are. That's a very important part of it, because I'm sensing that although the card talks about star family, for a lot of masculines, it's not going to be so much about the star family, although nobody's denying that at least some of your ancestors are part of that star family, right? There are like several collectives and that represent the star family, and the ancestry, like the direct ancestry, is one of them, right? So let's say your grandma is not around anymore, right? There's a good chance that it's part of that star family, right? And it's a little bit easier to imagine, because if grandma is not around, then you can imagine her soul being around and guiding you and helping you, right? But it can be it can be true of a lot of other characters, let's put it that way, right? People around you that have certain importance. So, but it is important that the masculines will get a chance. For them, it's going to be more than anything about healing familial trauma, maybe traumatic bonds with parents. For some, I'm getting this is very strongly. For others, it's just general sense of security or insecurity, you know, healthy connection versus anxiety and unhealthy attachments, you know, those kind of topics are going to be very relevant at this time, that will come up and will force divine masculines to revisit and to reprogram themselves to get a healthy perspective on those events. Great. Okay, so let's see, what's the impact of the eclipse on divine feminine collective? Justice in reverse. That's interesting. We just exited the Libra season. We're in Scorpio season, friends. This eclipse is happening at 2 degrees Scorpio. Very, very fresh Scorpio energy. What do we have for divine masculines? What's the impact? Wow, a lot of cards, but I'm gonna take them. We have 5 of Cups, 10 of Cups, the World, and the Hermit. Very interesting combination. Very interesting. Okay, what about the connection? What's the impact on the connection? I wanted to come out, the Devil. That's another actually classic energy that we're gonna be feeling at this time. I even heard it somewhere, you know, this kind of parallel connection between the sort of like monsters, ghosts, and all this shadow stuff that's coming out for Halloween. And, you know, the devilish energy, right? Of like how the shadow side, right? The solar eclipse, like think about it, right? So the sun basically illuminates the earth, and it's about what we project to the outside world. And by the way, we have the Chariot here. So these transformative energies are definitely going to be a big step for twins to move forward with the journey. It's going to be a leap, I'm hearing, yes. So the sun illuminates the earth, and it's a lot about the sun energy. In astrology is a lot about what we look like to the public, right? How do we present ourselves to the world? What does the world know about us and how it sees us, right? When the moon partially puts shadow on the sunlight, right, kind of hides the sunlight from the earth, it's kind of given this idea, well, first of all, the lunar energy is more about intuition, emotions, feelings, right, the internal, what is really happening inside. And plus, it's throwing a shadow, which is kind of this combination is what's bringing the shadow side to the surface. And that's how we are able to see it more clearly, right? Because we have the shadow, but we also have the sun at the same time. We are able to see these shadow topics and heal them at this time. Okay, let's pull the clarifiers. Yes, I'm guided to do that. Please clarify the Justice in reverse. Thank you. It's 6 of Cups in reverse. Please clarify the Hermit, the World, 10 of Cups, and 5 of Cups for the masculines. We have Ace of Wands in reverse. Please clarify the Devil energy for the connection. Oops, that's too many actually. Let's try again. Okay, we have Knight of Wands, Justice, Upright, and Two of Swords, which is healing in the After Tarot deck. Okay. Bottom of the deck, Magician. Yeah, so there is this power of manifestation. That's another interesting combination of solar eclipse, because it's new moon, so it's about manifestation, but it's also about this release and reveal. Okay, let's start with the feminine energy. We have Justice in reverse, clarified by 6 of Cups in reverse. So guess what? These are also the patterns of childhood. I'm getting that the feminines are really seeing where there was certain injustice, there was something unfair, they were judged unfairly or they were treated unfairly, right? And what I'm getting, and to me, the big connection to this card is that the feminines are now seen where they have been programmed from childhood, that they are limited in certain ways. Let's put it that way, right? That they cannot do this, that they are not good at that. Whatever it was, whatever that experience, whatever kind of trauma that experience introduced, now they're releasing that. And there is a new wave of this faith and trust that, and readiness to take a leap. Because I'm hearing, it sounds cocky maybe at first, but I'm hearing this, like I am the chosen one, right? This kind of energy comes around, comes to the front. Maybe there will be some signs that will kind of confirm this for you. But this reading is definitely one of the signs, if you were waiting for a Divine Feminine, that it's time to take that leap. It's your time. And whatever you were thought to believe when you were a child, whatever other people were telling you, even if they were important people, was not really true. If it talked about your limitations, shortcomings, mistakes, whatever, vices, whatever it was. Not necessarily, yeah, there's a correction, not necessarily that all of them were untrue, but that is irrelevant to your story, to the story of your life, to your mission, to your potential. And now is not the time to focus on those things, right? The focus is gonna be on clearing that out so you can start a new story, a new leaf. The masculines, a lot of cards here, but most importantly, so the clarification is the Ace of Wands in reverse. I'm gonna leave it here because I'm not gonna have enough hands to hold all of the cards, and these cards are definitely the key players here. So you see there is a certain contrast in these cards. You see 5 of Cups, 10 of Cups, right? First of all, 5 and 10 is kind of halfway in the end line, the goal. 5 of Cups and 10 of Cups, kind of the opposite energies of each other. This is about sadness, grief, and pain. This is about happiness, emotional fulfillment, and euphoria. Here we have the Hermit and the World. A Hermit is about going out into the mountain, being in solitude, exploring the inner world. World card is more about going out into the world. It's about traveling, it's about learning of the world. So what I'm getting for the masculines is that there's going to be a push to explore their life in a new way, the emotions and feelings, and also the actions, right? There are going to be choices, and it's going to be very important to see the options, that there are options. How do you react and what do you do in a certain situation? And it's going to be very important for the masculine, it's like it's a chance to reconnect with the inner child and to let go of the macho display where, masculines are often programmed that they're supposed to be strong, they're supposed to be confident, always kind of like ready to go, right? Full of enthusiasm. And, that's how it is, right? This is not the time to do that. This is exactly the opposite. And it may, on the surface, it may take off some of the kind of masculine display, but it's very important at this time for the masculines, for them to do their transformation, their death and rebirth, right? This is the part where they have a chance for ego death and for moving on to a completely new level. But that's where they need to reconnect with inner child. And for a lot of masculines, that's going to be the challenge I'm hearing, because they're not used to it. Not just that they don't know what it is, but they're not used to reconnecting with feelings and emotions. Maybe even more so from the childhood. When I talk, and I guess it's relevant for most of my friends as well, when I talk to my masculine about the childhood memories, it's usually pretty brief and kind of like, even when it comes to something emotional, he kind of changes the subject quickly, or just mentions a couple of words and like, oh, you know what, it's fine, it's just fine. Where you clearly understand that it's not really fine, but they're not accustomed to going into the vulnerable space. For the connection, we have the Devil, clarified by Three of Swords, Justice, and Knight of Wands. So to me, these are the main topics that the twins are reconsidering at this time. It's like an inventory, right, of the main topics of karma and ego and how can we deal with those. To improve the connection between the twins and to be able to build more loving bond with each other, healthier connection. So first and foremost is the heartache and the trauma, right? This is about love and how we give and receive love, something about how we were hurt before in a fundamental way that is preventing us from opening our heart fully right now. Second part is the justice, so it's about the what's fair, right? This can cover a variety of topics. This is a general reading, so take it how it resonates for you, but it can include things like being rewarded or punished for something that was done to the person or maybe to somebody next to, right? Then comparing two or more people, who is better, who is worse, right? Seeing how it was a very, very, very subjective judgment, right? Like it wasn't really true. It's also about judging someone's potential and skills without really learning the details, right? It's a lot of this. It can even be something legalistic. For example, I'm just giving it as an example. The person was, I don't know, maybe the family was like went bankrupt because of some unfortunate situation where they were deceived by someone. Or as a child, the particular person was abandoned by their parents, right? Or maybe somehow severely injured by a parent, right? Like that could be one of the scenarios as well. Whatever it is, it's about justice and like whatever, it can even be about health problems, I'm hearing, yeah? That's actually very relevant for me personally because I inherited a lot of illnesses from my parents. I was born with them. And a lot of times in my life, especially when I was a kid, I mean, a little bit older so I could understand more or less, right? But still a kid, I was asking like, how did I deserve it? Why is this happening to me? I couldn't understand it. That's also one of the scenarios for injustice. So the last one is more about sexual energy and exchange of sex and sexual energy between people. And this again goes into a variety of topics of our connection to our bodies, how our society and our culture allows for self-expression or doesn't allow for it, stereotypes connected with gender and with sexual relationships. If we talk about American society, of course, we cannot but mention the recent legislation about abortions. And I know that it's recent, but it might hit some people, you know, for specific cases that they know from before. It's of course about the sexual harassment cases and the variety of those, right? So again, and all kinds of objectification of either men or women based on certain criteria. So these kind of patterns may come up during this time, and they may come up as in their true color, as if, you know, now I'm seeing it, I'm remembering certain memory from the past, but now with the knowledge I have now, I can understand what was really happening, why it was important for my story, and I can transmute, I can release, I can heal. Or at least it's going to be coming up as something very emotional that you're not able to immediately understand and transmute. But at least take note of it, because it's something, it's like your homework, right? It's an assignment that has been given to you, because it means that if it's something that you repressed and now is coming back to you, it means that you're ready to work with it now, to dig deeper, to understand it, and then to transmute it. Last but not least, a piece of advice from the Angel Therapy deck. We'll get a card for Divine Feminine first of all. Ooh, that's too many. I don't know if it's me, if I'm excited about it, or the cards are. Not quite sure. But each of my decks are different pretty much, for the most part. Each of the decks that I've used today are different, definitely. So it takes a minute to get used to it from one to another. Just like in life, right? When we're taking a leap. Okay, I'm just gonna do this. Cut your cords. Ask Archangel Michael to clear any old attachments to fear that stem from past relationships, freeing you from destructive patterns. Yes, I think it's very straightforward, and I've covered this topic abundantly, so just gonna leave it at that. What do we have for the masculines? Heart chakra. That also makes excellent sense. The answer that you seek is in your heart right now. Be open to giving and receiving love. And that's exactly what I was talking about, especially with this card, right? The way we give and receive love. The masculines will be triggered to revisit that on many, many levels. Okay, I think I'm gonna end it here. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys. I love you all, and I'll be back with more readings very, very soon.